Okay, well, yes, we've got quite a lot to get through today. A little short welcome from me. But then, as you'll see on the screen, we have an introduction from Camilla, a little guide to security considerations, some presentations from the administration's investment division, which covers an awful lot of somewhat smaller projects. And specifically the road project there, the E22. Then we'll have a short break just to give everybody a little chance to recover from that first. Sorry, it started doing a transcription. I didn't expect that. Apologies. And then we'll be going through some details about the maintenance division, then particularly the Södertörn Crosslink Road project, the 3 new main lines for rail, Eastlink, Gothenburg, Borås, and Hässleholm-Lund. Then we'll have a short Q&A session, so do feel free to add your questions in the chat as we go through, and we'll pick them up from there. Then there'll be a presentation after that from Business Sweden, a quick break, and then just a final wrap up from me, really. I'll just add a few details about a few other projects in Sweden that may be of interest. Right. So I did mention already a little about me, but yes, Alan Goodliff, DIT Sweden. We're all based at the British Embassy within DIT Sweden. We don't have any other posts across Sweden, though we do have plenty of colleagues across the Nordic and Baltic region, as well as Europe and beyond. There are 16 of us in total working on export promotion, as I do, but also FDI promotion, so investors to the UK. Some of you may be familiar with, for example, Skanska or Sweco. They are both big investors in this sort of sector. And then also more recently, of course, trade policy and market access, which if you do have any issues on those kind of issues, please do let us know as well. It's not really my area, but I can help a bit, and I do have colleagues that specialize in it. Like I mentioned, we work with similar kind of issues right across the world, and also in the UK, we have a kind of other network of similar kinds of colleagues called International Trade Advisors, or ITAs. And if you don't already know them, you may wish to, or know one of them at least, may wish to do so. Oh, Irma, could you please turn off your camera? And mic. There we go. And you may ask, so why Sweden? Well, I don't know how well you already know the country, but we always say it's a good market for both new and experienced exporters. It's pretty close to home. They've got long historical trade ties and ranks highly in a number of innovation and ease of conducting business kind of indexes or indices that you may read about. So we feel it's quite a natural, at least first step, but also interesting projects in this particular sector. But I think that's probably enough from me. So I will hand over to Camilla.
Thanks, Alan, for that introduction. And thanks for all of you who are attending this webinar today. Really looking forward to present our upcoming business opportunities. And I will start by giving you a short introduction to Trafikverket, our sustainability work, and our work for attracting more international suppliers. And I will finish off with our business strategy, which is crucial to understand and be aware of when you do business with Trafikverket. My name is Camilla Ashton, and I work as an international strategist. And I'm responsible for coordinating Trafikverket's work for attracting more international suppliers. We can take next pictures, Alan. So the Swedish Transport Administration, Trafikverket, what do we do? Well, we're responsible for the long-term planning of all 4 traffic modes, so road, rail, shipping, and aviation. And we're also responsible for construction, operation, and maintenance of state roads and railways. And in the picture, you see our our Director General, Mrs. Lena Eriksson. We're some 10,000 employees. Our turnover in 2020 was 7.3 billion euros, and our procurement volume the same year was 5.3 billion euros. Next, please. Just to give you an idea of what our organization looks like, as you can see, the management in the top with the Director General, and in the bottom we have our business areas. And as Alan mentioned, we will have presentations for maintenance, investments, major projects, and also for our program, the new main lines, which you find above the business areas on the left. And embodied in the center of the organization, we have the central functions: purchasing and logistics, legal matters, communication, HR, who work all over the Trafikverket. Someone could turn off the mic, please. Thank you. Next, Alan.
Yeah, Dave Bedell, could you also please turn off your camera?
So in practical terms, you can say that our task or our mission means that we must ensure that the transport system works. And this is essential for the functioning society. And at Trafikverket, we create conditions to ensure that all transportation and journeys are carried out in the best and safest way, wherever you live, and with due consideration to environment and health. And this is summarized in our vision: everybody arrives smoothly, the green and safe way. Next, please. The transport sector accounts for a third of Sweden's greenhouse gas emissions, and road traffic dominates those emissions. There are 2 climate goals for the transport sector. By 2030, emissions from road traffic will be reduced by at least 70% compared with 2010. And in 2045, climate neutrality will be achieved, i.e. emissions are net zero. And I would like to give you just a short introduction to our sustainability work. So if we can take the next slide, please. For the Earth to be a good place for everyone to live in, a great deal of focused work is required. And for this reason, the UN and large parts of the world have agreed on 17 Sustainable Development Goals in Agenda 2030. And for example, goal number 9, sustainable industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Next, please. And the transport system plays an important role in achieving global goals. So for that reason, Trafikverket has its objective 2030, and it contains 10 priority aspects directly related to Agenda 2030. For example, greenhouse gas emissions from domestic transport should be at least 70% lower in 2030 than in 2010. Next, please. And as I mentioned, we're responsible for the long-term planning of all 4 traffic modes and also building, operation, and maintenance of roads and railways. And to ensure that we work systematically towards our objective 2030 and thereby Agenda 2030, 19 long-term sustainability goals have been developed. For example, the goal of developing electrification along important roads. And to make it a bit clearer, I would like to show you next slide, which shows how everything is connected. If we go from left to right, Trafikverket has a great deal of control over the development of the transport system, which in turn is a prerequisite for a sustainable society. And in the middle, you see we have our 19 goals related to Objective 2030, which presents how the entire transport system shall be developed. And Objective 2030 in turn relates to several of the UN's global goals for sustainable development. And thanks to this, it's possible to ensure that everything that is done helps to drive development in the right direction. And then in this example, to the right, we can see that expansion of electrical road is linked to the priority aspect number 5. Greenhouse gas emissions from domestic transport shall be at least 70% lower. And how this in turn contributes to goal 9 of Agenda 2030, which deals with sustainable industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So this all sounds very fine. And what does it look like in our contracts? If we take the next slide, please. As I mentioned, zero emissions of greenhouse gases by 2045. And as you can see here, the requirements for the new main lines is even higher. It's going to be zero emissions of greenhouse gases by 2040. And the world's first fossil-free welfare state. And this is how the climate goals for contractors look like. As you can see, CO2 reduction goals. Production completed before 2030 should be a 50% reduction compared to 2015. And for the new main lines, before 2030, its CO2 reduction goals for 60%. And then you can see how it works for the other years. So this is very important to be aware of when you do business with Trafikverket, and especially when you do business with the new main lines, since the requirements are higher for those three programs. If we go to the next slide, please. The carbon footprint is the base. So we use the carbon footprint, it's calculated, and we do a climate declaration to follow up on the climate goals. And it's the product managers who does the climate declaration. But it's good to know that we have our sustainability goals, the 19 long-term goals. We have specific requirements in the specific contracts. Then that we do carbon footprint is calculated, and we do a climate declaration. And I know that Johan at the Eastlink will mention some more words about sustainability. So I will leave it at this, but be aware of the climate requirements in our procurements. We can move on, Alan. The national plan for 2018 to 2029, 62.2 billion euros. And as you're aware of, we have a new national plan in the making for 2022 to 2033. And it's planned to be 79.9 billion euros. And we think that it will be there will be a new plan next year. Next, please, Alan. The national plan, as you saw, is a 12-year plan where you find information on a very high level about upcoming business opportunities. What you should do is maybe use the implementation plan, which is a 6-year plan with more details about upcoming businesses. Fortunately, it's only in the Swedish. If you are interested in it, I can send it to you. So just send me an email. You will find my contact information in the presentation. And I would also like to urge you to look into our procurement plan, which is a 12-month plan with more details about upcoming procurements, with information on where the procurement is done, estimated budget, contact person, and so on. So the further down you go to the plans, the more information you will get. Next, please. So in our procurements, in some of our procurements, we get a fairly low number of tenders. And one way of expanding and getting more suppliers and increase the competition is to attract international suppliers. So as I mentioned, we procured for 5.3 billion euros last year. And as you will hear today, we have lots of projects coming up. So we need to handle a large volume increases, increase the competition, and also inflow new methods, technology skills, so promote the renewal in the construction industry. And we do this by improving marketing towards international suppliers. And we're also trying to lower market entry barriers. And the last one is not easy because we have a lot of technical documents and so on. So it's a bit tricky, but we are looking into it. Next, please. Some of the activities we do to attract more international suppliers. On the 23rd of September, we hosted a Suppliers Day. We have a newsletter that we publish maybe 3 or 4 times a year, which contains information about upcoming procurements, upcoming projects, upcoming events, and so on. And you can sign up for it on our website. And as you will hear from some of my colleagues, we use supplier dialogue before procurements. We have executive summaries in English. We have an external website in English where you will find our procurement plan. So please visit our website and If you have any questions, please let me know. If we could take the next slide, Alan. So working with Trafikverket, some important things to remind you of. A Swedish partner or Swedish speaking key personnel is quite important. It will ease the way for you to succeed in Sweden. And also to think about what your unique contribution to the business is. What can you add to the business? Maybe innovation, new methods, skills, and so on. And we're quite focused on result in our projects to solve problems affecting the progress, and so on. And if you press the next one, Alan. Cultural things, fika in Sweden, coffee at 9 or 10 o'clock and in the afternoon. And here you can see my contact information and the website to follow. And if you have any general questions or want me to introduce you to someone at Trafikverket, just drop me a line and I will try and help you. That was the first introduction, and I would like to continue with our business strategy. So if we take the next slide, Alan. The business strategy comprises contracts and technical consultants and base maintenance contracts. So it doesn't cover all our procurements, but it covers a lot of them. Next, please. And the business strategy was drawn up for two main reasons: to create clarity with regards to the supply market, and to facilitate our internal decision-making process. Next, please. And as I mentioned, technical consultant services in planning and design, investment contracts, and base maintenance. So those are the ones which are covered by this strategy. Next, please. And as I mentioned, it's to facilitate and ensure conscious choices when we do our businesses towards our agreed goals and approaches. That's the main objective of the strategy. Next, please. The business strategy is based on the industry's 3 general conditions. So AB4 for 04 for performance contracts, AB206 for design and build contracts, and ABQ9 for technical consultant services. And those 3 general conditions are translated into English. Next, please. So the assignment and contract type in the business strategy differs with respect to contract and assignment type, form of compensation, procurement procedure, evaluation of tenders, and form of cooperation. And we will look into this in a little while. So this is important to remember. And we can go to the next, please. Because for us, it's important that we work for market development that leads to the achievement of the goals: increased productivity, degree of innovation, and competition in the construction industry. So those are our main goals. Next, please. The biggest change with this new strategy, it came into force in 2019. Innovation or other benefits. It's a 4th parameter for the choice of business form, which is introduced in our. It's supposed to added value in standard contracts and standard assignments. We will look at this just in a little while. We can go to the next one. I would like to give you just an example of what it looks like in practice. So you can skip this one and the next one. We will go to this one. As you can see, in this box, on the top box, we have competitive focus and collaborative focus. And then you have the assignment form, form of remuneration, procurement procedure, tender evaluation, and collaboration. And if we have a standard assignment, which in this picture shows, we have an assignment specified in the tender documents. We have fixed fee, We have opened up for bonus for innovation and other benefits in the middle. We have greatest focus on price, or greatest focus on price and quality, and collaboration according to Trafikverket basic level. So this is a standard assignment. And as you can see, we're on the far left on the box. So competitive focus is the important thing here. The more complex as an assignment gets, the further to the right we go. So we can take the next one. As you can see, we're all the way to the right. So this is more focused on collaborative focus on the top box. And as you can see, variable fee, limitation of numbers of bidders, greatest focus on quality, and collaboration according to Trafikverket high level. But as I mentioned, this is not specifically used in so many procurements. Standard assignments and the box in the middle are more common. And if we take the next one, to just do it a little bit easier, we have translated the business strategy into English, and just follow this link and you will find the business strategy. And if you have any questions, we have contact persons on the next slide for contracts, maintenance, and consultants. And if you would like me to introduce you to these colleagues, just send me an email and we can take the next one. This was just to give you an overview of Trafikverket, our sustainability work, our work for attracting more international suppliers, and our business strategy. I know it's a lot in a short time, but just to give you an idea of what it's like to do business with Trafikverket. And the next slides is just a bonus. If you're interested in installations and catenary works, you can look into those pictures by yourselves. You will get all the information we showed today. So we can just skip to the next section, which is security requirements, Alan. I think it's a couple of more slides. You have the contact information for the project manager there. So I would like to hand over to Stig.
Thank you, Camilla. My name is Stig Braun. I'm head of security at the Department for Purchasing and Logistics at Trafikverket. Today I have a short presentation about two legislations that might have an impact on our future affairs. You can click a couple of times, 5 or 6, I think. PSC is the last one. Thank you. The first one is a new legislation that came into place a couple of years ago. It's a new Swedish security legislation. This legislation has one paragraph concerning handling classified informations when we have international entrepreneurs from countries without a GSA. And what is a GSA? GSA is short for General Security Agreement. This paragraph comes into place in the 1st of January in 2025, but we already now have to consider how to handle this, because we have affairs starting now and going on past this date. GSA is a bilateral agreement between member states, between governments, and it's, as I said, it concerns handling of classified information, and it's about trust on a national level. When we have such a GSA in place, the Swedish authorities have trust in, for example, UK's national legislation and how you handle a couple of things. This GSA concerns two areas. The first one is shorted FSC. It stands for, as you see, Facility Security Clearance. It's a kind of check we do of your companies about your physical facilities, your buildings, how you have arranged with alarms, access control, and such on. The other part is PSC. It stands for Personal Security Clearance, and here we check the other part, which is the staff you have employed and the staff that might be involved in handling this classified information. We check, for example, did someone switch my microphone off? You still hear me, Alan?
Yes, we can again now.
Okay.
I don't know what happened there, to be honest. I don't think it was intentional, certainly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Next slide, please. And you can click 4 times. So what will the consequences be if Sweden does not have a GSA with, for example, UK? It means that if we want to do business with you and this business contains classified information, it's not possible. This is mandatory that we must have such a GSA in place. This, it's good to know that this also includes subcontractors, that if they come from another country, we must have a GSA agreement for their countries also. If we use staff from other countries and they come to Sweden to do work within our business, we must also have a GSA agreement with their home country. That's the third point. And of course, all business that does not include classified information, we don't need these GSA agreements. Next slide, please. The next act is the European Cybersecurity Act. Under this framework, multiple schemes will be created for different categories of IT products, IT processes, and IT services. Right now, we are in Sweden in the process to implement this European Act, which means that there will be a certification process, and for more important products, this will be mandatory, and for less important IT products or processes, services, this certification will be voluntary. Right now, we are in preparation of the National Security Act under this European Act. It's under development, and the plan is to adopt this in the summer next year, summer 2022. And next slide, please. That was my short presentations. If you have any questions, unfortunately, I cannot stay for the Q&A session. So if you have questions, please put them in writing and we will email you the answers. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Stig. Oh, there we go. Right, now we're moving on to the business area of investments. So over to the next Trafikverket colleague.
Yes, thank you, Alan. Let's see if I can turn my camera on. Yes, hello everyone. I'm very happy to be a part of this meeting today, and my picture has been a bit delayed during Stig's and Camilla's presentation. So if I'm a bit quiet in between the pictures, it's just that I can't see them yet, but hopefully it goes well. All right, my name is Molly Roberts. I'm a unit manager at Business Area Investment in South Sweden at the Swedish Transport Administration, also called Trafikverket in Swedish. And me and my work team is working with road and railway projects, and one of them will be presented today by Johan after my presentation. But I'm here to introduce you to business area investments, and we focus on road and railway projects whose budgets are less than 1 billion Swedish crowns. And our mission is that sometimes it is enough to make minor changes to the transport system, but in other cases we need to completely rebuild or construct a new facility in order to guarantee a sufficient capacity. And our mission in department investment is to carry out investment projects, and that we work in the entire process from investigations to construction. And we work in a classic project format with the project manager as the core, and who is linked to together with buyers, land managers, specialists in technology and environment, and so on. And all of these expertise are there for the project's needs. Next picture, please. We want to create innovation and productivity into our projects, and therefore we aim to order functionality rather than finished technical solutions. In this way, we create preconditions for greater productivity, a high level of innovation, and greater efficiency in the construction sector. So innovation is something we really want to happen. Next picture, please. And here is some quick facts. Investment department has 1,600 ongoing projects, and these are both road and railway projects, as I said before, and they have a budget less than 1 billion Swedish crowns. And they may both be conversion and the new investment works. And we are working all over Sweden, divided in 5 different districts: North, Central, West, East Stockholm, and South District, where I belong to the South District myself. And there are a wide range of tasks, such as increasing capacity on road and railway by new development and rebuilds. But also we make walking and cycling routes, we make train platforms and bus stops more accessible. Next picture, please. Now it's a bit of a delay here, or do you need to click once more? All right, I continue talking. My picture is a bit blurry, but all right. Investment business idea. Our idea is to successfully lead and realize infrastructure projects for the benefit of anyone traveling and transporting themselves in Sweden. And it's focused on 5 business areas. The first one is project portfolio, which is focused on projects that we got projects that is carried out within the right time, the right cost, and the right content that we have promised. And the next one is that we have a customer focus, that we provide right information and have only planned interference. Security and work environment is that we work together towards 0 accidents. And when it comes to sustainability, we want to create a sustainable production during the entire life cycle of the facility, focused on the environmentally sustainability. And the last but not least is active project management, which means that we work professionally and uniformly with active project management. Next picture, please. Yeah, and here we got a picture of Sweden and some of the projects that we are gonna procure between 2022 and 2024. And this is some of our larger projects who are in the investigation phase or in the construction phase. And these projects are both road projects to increase the safety and capacity with highway or a 2+1 lane with the median barrier. It can also be reconstruction and completely new routes, as well as railway projects to increase capacity or standard by track and points replaced or replacement of the overhead contact line system. Next picture, please. All right, so if you have any question, you can find out more on our project, about our projects online in our procurement plan or by sending me an email, and I can help you to get the information from the project managers. So I want to thank you for your attention, and this was Investment in Brief, and I hope to hear from you in the future. Thank you, and over to you, Johan.
Yep, thank you, Martin.
Hello, everybody. Now my mic is on. I will present you a road. It's mainly a road project in the South District, but we also have a smaller bridge under the railway. So it's both railway, but mainly a road project. Next, please. It's in the south of Sweden. The E22 goes from Trelleborg in the south to Norrköping, and this is a 10-kilometer road project in Skåne. Next, please. I emphasize that you will have to build it along our in an agricultural landscape, so we have to take some precautions to the agriculture businesses. Next, please. The scope is 9.1 kilometer highway. It's 4 lanes. You see the section here. 5.8 kilometers is current road. It's widened from 13 meters to 21.5 meters. And 3.3 kilometer is a new road along the current road, actually. You will see that further on in the movie. And we have also about 10 kilometers of roads for the local traffic, paved roads, and about 7 meters wide. Next, please. It's a small facilities here with also 6 bus stops and 2-kilometer bike roads and some gravel roads. We have totally 6 bridges and 5 pumping stations. Next, please. And of course, noise embankments, noise screens, and crash barriers, of course. A lot of drainage pipes, ponds, and dikes. We have 2.5 kilometers of the stretches. We have some groundwater protections to ensure that with an accident, the diesel and other pollutions won't go down to the groundwater. There are also 2 ponds in that area that we have to make a groundwater protection for. We have a lot of excavation, and as you see, there are some masses to transport from the site. And we're working on that, but we're not really. We haven't made the arrangement with the depots yet. The estimation cost, production cost, is about 45 to 50 million euro totally, and we estimate about 30 months of production time, starting 2022. Actually, we need this government decision, as Camilla mentioned earlier here. Where it's the new plan is up for decision. You can take the next, please. If you open, can you open the link there about the movie, so I can you can show it's I have a little movie there. We'll see how it goes with the sound, but I can translate as along we're riding, flying over the project here. Perhaps it's starting in another viewer, perhaps.
Yes, exactly. It has done. So I will try to switch over without making a mess of it and do my best. Otherwise, we'll put the link to the movie perhaps when I send out the recording later. And then it'll be people can view it separately. If this doesn't work, I'll give it a stab now.
Yeah, it's here we. Yeah, you can put it in play down there, perhaps. Oh, there, perfect. The E22 is for increasing capacity and safety, and it's between a little village called Fjälkinge and Gualöv, and we are passing Bäckaskog as we go. The current road is what we call 2+1, that we have 2 lanes in one direction and 1 lane in the other direction, and switching. And here you see the yellow line is the new highway, and the red line was the current road. We have a new intersection at Bäckaskog, and the yellow lines developing here is some roads for the local traffic. We will get down to the real road. Here we are widening the road on the right-hand side, and we're building the yellow noise embankments, noise screens, I should say. And here we are continuing widening to the right-hand side, building a pond, and most of the ponds are collecting the water, and then the water infiltrates in the ground. We're passing the village here, some more noise screens, and you see the yellow line is a new bike road, and the second yellow line is the new road for the local traffic. And here we have what you call deer crossing for the wild animals to cross the road and to cross the railway. You see the railway, the train comes down there in the left part of the picture. passing a market called Eco, and here we have 2 bus stops, and we are using the current road for the local traffic on that stretch. We are getting to the intersection Bäckaskog, as we call it, and here is also a pond for the drainage water. And we're in a part of the drain, the part that we have groundwater protection. So that pond is one of the that needs the groundwater protection. In Bäckaskog, we are building 2 bus stops, and on the left-hand side you see a new bike road. Continuing on the E22, we're closing up to the current road again, and but now we're widening on the left-hand side. I think it broke down there, didn't it, Alan?
I think it rather did.
Yeah.
But if it's all right, I'll put the link when I send out everything else, then people can take a look at it at their leisure, and I'll get back to the main presentation. Just bear with me a moment.
Yeah. Well, you have, it was about the project. In the presentation, there was some contact information to me if you have some more questions. So just email me if you have any questions, and the link to the project is there as well. Hope you find it interesting. There will be about the carbon reduction. We're aiming for 30% of reduction in this project. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Thank you for paying attention.
Thank you, Johan. I think that we are a bit ahead of time, Alan. We're supposed to go on a break at 11. This concludes the first part of our presentations. And I think that, fika. And I think that we could go for a break for maybe 10 minutes, stretch the legs and go for coffee. And then we will continue with our major projects. We will continue with the maintenance, and then with the crosslink and our 3 new main lines. And then we will finish off with a Q&A session. So what do you say, Alan? Should we go for a break now?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We're going to have 10 minutes before. If we reconvene perhaps at 11:05, in that case, we'll be 5 minutes ahead of schedule so far. But would that be all right?
Yeah, that
Great.
sounds good.
So back at 5 past.
5 past.
Thanks.